What if I told you there's a 5% withdrawal strategy that never failed? Even during the 1929 stock market crash? I'm about to show you the results of a massive 98-year backtest comparing 3 retirement withdrawal strategies, 68 different 30-year retirement cohorts, starting portfolio of $1 million, 3 different strategies tested from 1928 to 2025. And the winner? It's going to shock you. Let's dive in. First, let's make sure we're on the same page. What is a withdrawal rate? Here's the core question every retiree faces. How much can you spend each year from your investment portfolio without running out of money? It's expressed as a percentage. Simple example, $40,000 withdrawn from $1 million equals 4%. But here's what keeps people awake at night. Longevity risk, living longer than your money lasts. This is the most feared outcome. Sequence of returns risk, a market crash early in retirement destroys your capital before it can recover. Inflation risk, rising prices silently erode your purchasing power year after year. These 3 risks are why choosing the right withdrawal strategy is absolutely critical. Strategy 1. The famous 4% rule. This was developed by William Bengen in 1994 and validated by the Trinity Study in 1998. Here's how it works. Step 1. Withdraw exactly 4% of your starting portfolio in year 1. That's $40,000 from $1 million. Step 2. Increase that dollar amount every year by actual CPI inflation. So $40,000 becomes $41,200 with 3% inflation. Step 3. Never change the withdrawal based on portfolio performance. Fixed spending regardless of whether markets go up or down. The strengths? It's simple. No calculations needed. Predictable income. The same real spending every year. And inflation-protected purchasing power. But the weaknesses are brutal. It ignores actual portfolio performance. It fails in high inflation sequences. It often leaves a large unspent estate. And it's dangerous for 40-plus-year retirements. The key assumption? The withdrawal amount is fixed in real terms. It never adjusts down, even if markets crash 50%. And that's where things go wrong. Strategy 2. The Endowment/Perpetuity Model. This is what Harvard, Yale, and sovereign wealth funds have used for centuries. How it works. Step 1. Start with a 2% initial withdrawal, just $20,000 from $1 million. Yeah, that sounds low. Step 2. Each year, increase the withdrawal by actual CPI inflation, always. So, $20,000 becomes $20,600 with 3% inflation. Step 3. Purchasing power is fully protected. Income grows with the cost of living every year. The strengths? 100% survival rate in all 68 cohorts. Full inflation protection. And maximum wealth preservation for heirs. The weaknesses? Low income, just $20,000 per year on a $1 million start. You need a large portfolio for practicality. And you leave most wealth unspent in your lifetime. This is best for high net worth individuals who prioritize legacy and wealth transfer. Unlike the 4% rule, the 2% plus CPI withdrawal is fully inflation protected every year regardless of markets. Strategy 3. The Guyton-Klinger Guardrails. Developed by Jonathan Guyton and William Klinger in 2006, this adjusts spending dynamically. Spend more when wealthy, cut back when needed. Think of it like driving on a road. A guardrail puts a ding in your car and shifts your momentum back toward the center. It saves you from going over the edge. Rule 1. Start at 5% initial rate. Begin retirement withdrawing 5% of portfolio, that's $50,000 per year. That's 25% more than the 4% rule. Higher start is sustainable because guardrails auto-cut spending if markets turn bad. Rule 2. Capital Preservation Rule. If current withdrawal rate breaches 6.0% upper guardrail because your portfolio shrank, cut withdrawal by 10%. Only applies in first 15 years. Rule 3. Prosperity Rule. If current withdrawal rate drops below 4.0% lower guardrail because your portfolio grew a lot, increase withdrawal by 10%. This lets you spend more in bull markets. Plus, one more rule. Skip the CPI inflation raise in any year following a negative market return. This protects your portfolio from overspending in downturns. Let me show you this in action during one of the worst possible times to retire. 1966. You start with $1 million, withdraw $50,000. Year 1, the market drops 10%. Your portfolio is now $855,000. Ouch. Year 2, the market rockets up 24%. You're thinking, we're saved. But wait, let's do the math. Your withdrawal is now $51,450 with inflation. Your portfolio is $855,285. Do the division, that's a 6.016% withdrawal rate. You've hit the guardrail. The system triggers. You must cut spending by 10%, down to $46,305. This hurts, but it saves you. That cut preserves capital. The portfolio recovers to over $1 million. Crisis averted. Without guardrails, you'd keep withdrawing more and more as inflation compounds, eventually draining everything. With guardrails, you take a temporary haircut and survive. It's the difference between a 10% pay cut and bankruptcy. Now for the moment of truth. 30-year survival rates across all 68 cohorts from 1928 to 1995. Here's what nobody's telling you about the 4% rule. It failed 5 times out of 68 in our backtest. That's a 92.6% success rate. Sounds good, right? Wrong. Because those 5 failures? They happened to people who retired in 1929, 1930, 1966, 1968, and 1969. If you retired right before a market crash or during high inflation, you ran out of money by year 21 to 28. Imagine working your entire life, only to go broke in your 80s. Endowment 2% plus CPI, 100%. 68 out of 68. Never failed. Survived every single cohort. Guyton-Klinger 5%, 100%. 68 out of 68. Never failed. Guardrails prevented all failures. GK survived all those crises. Great Depression, Stagflation, .com crash, everything. It prevented depletion even in the worst scenarios. A 5% withdrawal strategy that never failed. Even in the 1929 crash. Let that sink in. So why did the 4% rule fail? 2 types of disasters. Scenario 1, the Great Depression. You retire in 1929. The market crashes 8% immediately, then 25%, then 44%. Your portfolio is halved in 3 years. But the 4% rule doesn't care. It keeps demanding you withdraw the same inflation-adjusted amount. You're selling shares at fire sale prices to meet withdrawals. By year 21, you're broke. Scenario 2, Stagflation. You retire in 1966. The market is flat for years, but inflation is 7 to 13% annually. Your $40,000 withdrawal balloons to $131,000 by year 20, then $172,000 by year 27. Your portfolio can't keep up. You're withdrawing more than it earns. Slow bleed, then sudden death. Here's the brutal truth. The 4% rule assumes markets will recover quickly. But what if they don't? What if inflation stays high for a decade? The guardrail strategy? It cuts spending during these exact scenarios. Painful, yes, but you survive. Let's talk real money. If you retired in 1975 with $1 million, here's what happened over 30 years. 4% rule. You started with $40,000, ended with $142,000. Total withdrawn, $3.2 million. Portfolio remaining, $25 million. 2% rule. Started with $20,000, ended with $71,000. Total withdrawn, $1.6 million. Portfolio remaining, $35.7 million. 5% guardrails. Started with $50,000, ended with $211,000. Total withdrawn, $5.64 million. Portfolio remaining, $12.9 million. Look at those numbers again. The guardrail strategy gave you $5.64 million in spending power over 30 years. The 4% rule gave you $3.2 million. That's 75% more lifetime income. Yes, you leave less to your heirs, $12.9 million instead of $25 million. But you lived better. You traveled more. You enjoyed retirement when you were healthy enough to do so. The 2% rule? You die with $35 million. But your income while you were alive was the lowest. Which story do you want? Now let's look at portfolio outcomes across all 68 cohorts. 4% rule. Median ending portfolio of $10.8 million. But the worst case? Just $652,000. And 5 cohorts went to zero. 2% rule. Median ending portfolio of $16.5 million. Worst case? Still $4.3 million. You literally cannot fail. 5% guardrails. Median ending portfolio of $5.1 million. Worst case? $1.4 million. And you withdrew $3.66 million over your lifetime, the most of any strategy. Here's what this tells us. The 4% rule has fat tail risk. Most of the time it works fine, but when it fails, it's catastrophic. Like playing Russian roulette with 5 chambers empty. Sounds safe until it's not. The 2% rule is the opposite. Guaranteed success. Even the worst case still ends with 4x your starting capital. But the income is the lowest. The 5% guardrails? You get paid more in retirement, but leave a smaller estate. The math is clear. Flexibility creates resilience. Let's compare these head to head. Income. Guardrails wins at $50K/year. 4% rule gives you $40,000. 2% gives you $20,000. That's the difference between a comfortable retirement and a restrictive one. Safety. Both guardrails and 2% have 100% success. The 4% rule? 92.6%. Those missing 7.4% represent real people who went broke. Predictability. The 4% and 2% rules are rock-solid predictable. Same income every year. Guardrails? It varies. You might get a 10% cut in bad years. Some people can't handle that psychologically. Legacy. Want to leave millions? The 2% rule turns $1 million into $35 million. Guardrails leaves $12.9 million. The 4% rule? $25 million, but only if it doesn't fail. Complexity. The 4% and 2% rules are set and forget. Guardrails requires annual check-ins and discipline to cut spending when triggered. The truth? There's no best strategy. Only the best strategy for you based on your priorities: income, safety, or legacy. 6 key takeaways from this 98-year backtest. Number 1. Dividends are not optional. Without reinvested dividends, the 4% rule fails 38% of the time. With them, only 7.4% failure. Dividends are the engine that drives long-term wealth. Don't chase yield, but don't ignore them either. Number 2. Inflation is the silent killer. In the 1970s, a $40,000 withdrawal grew to $172,000 in just 27 years. That's 10% annual inflation compounding. Fixed withdrawals can't survive this. You need flexibility. Number 3. Flexibility beats rigidity. The guardrail strategy's willingness to cut 10% in bad years is what saved every single cohort. A temporary pay cut beats bankruptcy. Ego wants consistency. Survival requires adaptability. Number 4. Sequence of returns risk matters. Early crashes are deadly. A 50% crash in year 1 of retirement is catastrophic. The same crash in year 20? Barely noticeable. That's why guardrails focus protection in the first 15 years. Number 5. Most people are too conservative. The 2% rule leaves a median estate of $16.5 million. That's insane. You're hoarding wealth you'll never use. The data says you can safely spend more. Number 6. Modern markets are kinder. Every cohort from 1975 onward succeeded with all 3 strategies. Better monetary policy, stronger markets, dividend growth. Retirement is safer now than in 1929. But that's no guarantee for the future. So, what should you actually do? Here's your action plan. Step 1. Layer your income. Don't rely on your portfolio for everything. Use guaranteed income, CPF life, Social Security, pensions, annuities, for essentials, food, housing, healthcare. That's your foundation. Your portfolio? That's for discretionary spending. Travel, hobbies, gifts. This separation gives you flexibility. Step 2. Pick your poison. Want maximum income and can handle variability? Guardrails all the way. Needs simple and predictable? 4% rule, but add guardrails as a safety net. Building generational wealth? The 2% rule turns you into a dynasty. Step 3. Build in guardrails no matter what. Even if you choose the 4% rule, make this promise to yourself. If my portfolio drops 20%, I'll cut spending 10 to 15%. This one rule would have saved every failing 4% cohort. It's that powerful. Step 4. Review annually, not daily. Check your withdrawal rate once a year. If it's drifted more than 20% from your target, adjust. But don't react to every market dip. Daily checking destroys discipline. Annual reviews build it. The bottom line, the best strategy is the one you'll actually stick to. Consistency beats optimization. So here's the bottom line. The right strategy depends on your goal. Goal: maximize income, guardrails 5%. You'll get paid more, live better, and still never run out of money. Goal: never fail, endowment 2%. You'll die rich, but live modest. Goal: simple and predictable, 4% rule works, but add guardrails as insurance. The data is clear. The S&P 500, with dividends reinvested, is a wealth-creating machine. All 3 strategies grew $1 million into multi-million-dollar portfolios. Stocks work. Time works. But how you withdraw matters just as much as where you invest. The 4% rule dominated retirement planning for 30 years. But we have better data now, better strategies. The guardrails approach gives you more income with better safety. So which strategy will you choose? Comment below. I read every single one. Remember, this video is for educational purposes only. Past performance does not guarantee future results. Always consult a qualified financial advisor before making investment decisions. Thanks for watching, and stay safe out there. You've just seen how we're turning data into wealth. If you want more insights like this, subscribe to the channel. Hit the like button, share and comment below to discuss what similar videos you'd like to see next.